Hello, everyone. This is Jordan Farrell. I'm the writer and director of the short film Dark Gray Blue, which was released 4 years ago. And in honor of its 4-year anniversary, I've decided to make this documentary. The film was a lot more successful than I thought it would be, with positive reviews and a solid viewership as well. And I'm currently developing a potential sequel to the film, as I'm making this documentary. And I'm really looking forward to presenting more of the story of Jake Try, his pet cat Rose, and his new friend he made, Rosaldo. Back in late 2020, I was in my second year of animation school. I felt the urge to make an animated short film on my own, as I've already been making uh, student films in class at the time. But I wanted to make something on my own, in my own time, that wasn't an assignment. Something that had zero interference from anybody, just something. I've been having that urge since the completion of Scooby the Backstage Rage, but and while I wasn't working on Scooby Doo Waters of Atlantis, which is still coming out, I swear, it's just let me cook. um, but yeah, I just felt the urge to make an animated short film, but I didn't want to do anything silly or obscure. I didn't want to do a fan film because fan films take a lot longer because you want to make sure the fan base likes it. I wanted to tackle drama, as dramatic animation, drama films, and mainly slice live anime were some of my personal favorites to watch and consume. And I wanted to make something that was the equivalent of those things. I wanted to keep it simple but yet very effective. What I wrote should have been at least maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and as you could tell when the film came out, it was much longer than it could have been. But as we delve into the documentary more, you'll learn that a lot had changed to further make the story better. But as I was thinking of a short dramatic story, I decided to tackle something personal to help me out. Something that I could feel make it more dramatic and maybe even more powerful. I went for a story of loss and grief, a theme that I greatly relate to, as I've lost a lot of people close to me in my life, most notably my sister, stepfather, and a close friend to suicide. So, to make the story short, I based it off of my depression, which is not something that easily goes away from me, and instead of flat out ignoring it, I decided to confront it for this film, and I still plan to in many more films under my belt. And that became the primary concept of the film. As for stuff that inspired Dark Gray Blue, The Garden of Words, and Reign Over Me, and to a good extent, the anime series Clannad. It's one of my favorites. I like trains. You know, I've always wanted to have something take place at a subway station. I like going to the train whenever I can, whenever it's reasonable and appropriate. I specifically wanted the train to be more of a subway type train. I can't recall the name of it, but I'm pretty sure all the train otakus who are watching this documentary are fuming right now because I can't. But how I pulled off the train sequence was everything was PNGs for the most part, like such as this shot of the train moving, of the train just driving itself. What I did was I made an entire model of the train, as you can see right here. Then I designed this background, which is the inside of the station, inside of the track hole, and then the sidewalk, I decided to give some cracks and whatnot for some character, and then I combined the two into this shot right here. As for the name Mental, I just gave it that name Mental just to fit with the themes about mental health and depression and whatnot. Now, as for the inside of the train, which it's more fun for me because it'll be the first time I get to point out specific Easter eggs. As you see right here, the girl next to Jake is not an animation, she's part of the background. And if you look up here, right here, it says Oz, the new social network. That's a reference to the social network that's in the movie Summer Wars, and I thought it'd be a cool Easter egg to put up there. And if you look twice, Ronald Strand, which is the name of a character from my first film, feature film, Scooby-Doo the Backstage Rage, is featured on here and it's not the only Easter egg from Backstage Rage that's in here. And then you got the sign that says words can't hurt. Again, just pushing the meaning of mental health and feelings and depression. You know, I want to push that forward. As for the color palette, I specifically went with multiple blues. You know, multiple blues, just limited, because I wanted As for the subway station, I did not want it to be completely all the way blue and whatnot. As for the subway station, I was mainly inspired by San Francisco subway stations, you know, where they're just filled with iconography on the wall and whatnot, and the cracks on the sidewalks were just inspired by just to make it feel incomplete and not look 100% perfect, because I did not want to paint a perfect, pretty picture of this world. And as you can hear, I'm drinking while talking about this. The park. Now, I like going to the park. Currently, where I'm recording, I don't have a park near me to go to. But now, the park, the way it was designed in this film, was a combination of many parks I've been into most of my life, such as, you know, San Francisco Park, Santa Rosa Parks, Howard Park, and the Hesperia Park, where I usually go to. And again, mostly blues and some greens, just to give some sense of life into it. Now, what is Fridge City? Fridge City is the fictional city in town of most of my original work, and it will continue to be the setting in most of my future work. And as for the dark gray blue car, the dark gray blue car did play a significant moment into the film when writing, because at the time it was called dark gray blue. I didn't know why it was called dark gray blue. So when I was writing the script and when the car arrived, I was like, aha, how about it becomes dark gray blue? And that is why it was designed to be that way. The diner. This is my second film involving a diner, and I wanted, you know, to have a very public place where Jake eventually meets Rosaldo, and the diner felt like an appropriate place to have it be, because there's way more people, and you have to deal with more people than usual. You can't go to the park and distance yourself from most people, where maybe you could deal with one or two people, you know. But the diner is a very public place. There's a lot more people there, and there's bound to be a public meltdown, which what happens in this film. And this one I played around with the more colors. I had the seats be more pinkish, so that way the seats stand out, so that way they aren't blending in with the background blues too much. As far as like give more of a dimension into to diner, there's like the shot of the vending machine, bars, a bathroom. I don't know why I specifically brought up a bathroom, but here we are. And yeah, out of all the scenes, this is one of my favorite scenes I've designed. And the marketplace. The marketplace is a very special place. If you ever go to San Francisco or LA, it's a place where you get to, or if you go to Hesperia, on the weekends, you get to, that's where you really get to know the community, is if you visit these parts of the town, is the Market Street. And the Market Street was a very prominent place in San Francisco and LA, and I want to incorporate that into the film and incorporate as much San Francisco isms as possible. And of course, it can't be a hometown I like without including a water tower. The significance of the water tower is that where I live, there's a bunch of water towers, and I want to incorporate that into the film in some place. As far as Easter eggs go, in the diner, Shaggy, Daphne, and Jack Campbell from my Scooby-Doo fan films make an appearance on there, so there's that. Now for the scenes I've done for the big reveal, the big car crash, I mostly just decided to make it a desert because where I live is in a high desert, so I want to incorporate that part of myself into the backgrounds, is those deserts and those rocks that I would see when traveling from Hesperia to LA and whatnot. And for the one specific background where the car is crashing, which I'll finally show you right here, I just did not feel like animating a car crash, so I just decided to make it flashbangs. I think it was more effective that way. As far as the date goes on the newspaper, there's nothing significant about that date other than I just picked a date. And that ultimately affected the rest of the narrative for the film because, alright, 2005, the car crash happened. Now that has to be the year of his daughter and wife's deaths. So there you have it. And as for the final act of the film, or the final part, which is Jake's house and whatnot, I wanted to make it feel as lived in as possible. So I went back to mainly blues to give off that depression state, but I also wanted to make it, the way to make it feel lived in was to have a bunch of shit all over the place, like a messy place, like a house that hasn't been taken care of in a long while. And I wanted to emphasize that to give more dimension to the character and background to what Jake was. And those are for the backgrounds of Dark Gray Blue. Now, normally I would explain the VFX stuff, but I'd rather the VFX process speak for itself. So here's your montage.
Giving me some space would be nice.
Now for the characters. When it came to the character of Jake, I did not give him a name in the script. It was only around, let's say, near the end of the script and during production, I decided to give him a name, because he can't just be called Depressed Man, because that's not compelling of a character. As for what inspired the character, it was a couple years ago when I was a kid, and I used to live in a hotel. We would walk around the bridge or take the bus to the local Stater Brothers that had a laundromat. And there was this, what I presumed to be a homeless person, just there. And he looked pretty similar to how Jake looked. And just something about that sadness in him just I wouldn't say spoke to me, but it was just like, I knew something wasn't right about this guy. And then one day he had a meltdown. Not too big of a meltdown, but enough to stand out. And yeah, I've thought about that person since. I haven't forgotten about him. So when it came to making this film and designing this character, I thought of him. I thought of that person. And when it came to casting the film, I thought of my good buddy Mason Burchett. Mason, what do you have to say about your time as Jake from Dark Gray Blue?
Hey, I'm voice actor Mason Burchett, an impressionist, here today to talk to you about a little film called Dark Gray Blue. I got the shirt on, Jordan. I'm going all out, buddy. So, it's been 5 grueling long years ago. I can't believe that. Jordan, we're getting old, but you're getting older, because I'm younger. Anyways, how was I approached? Jordan shot me a message on Messenger, which is how we communicate to this day, even, because he lives way up in California. I live down here in Hillbilly, Missouri. So anyways, now he sent me a message on Messenger. I had done some previous work with him on a couple of his films, and he asked me if I would take the lead role of this film, and at the time, I, was just getting into voice acting. I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. So, yeah, pretty much the rest is history there. Now, for Rose the cat, I just had seen in the script that she existed, and I was like, you know what, I can do all kinds of crazy sounds and sound effects, so, you know what, I'm going to ask him if I can be the cat, too. And then that's pretty much how it happened. And I savor those moments. So my characters are Jake and Rose the cat. Jake is a father to a now deceased daughter, and he also lost his wife, and he's dealing with a lot of trauma in this film, but he finds hope through friendship and memories, and it has a really good ending, and I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to see. It's not all sadness. It is a beacon of hope in a hard time. And Rose the cat, she is Jake's companion, and she kind of helps bring Jake up out of the abyss of sadness and despair. So when I approach this role, I like to lean into more comedic roles. So I took a very, very different approach to this. And I took a melancholy approach to Jake. But Rose the cat, I just tore up my vocal cords and make cat sounds. Here, listen. Just kind of like that. I have very fond memories working on this film with good old Jordan. Um, this was my first lead role, and I still look back onto it, and I'll tell people about, this is where I started, and this is kind of what gave me the confidence to keep pursuing the passion and the impressions and the voiceover work. So it's great memories. I'll never forget the time, the premiere. I'll never forget the premiere 5 years ago. We had just come back from a parade, and I had to show my parents. I was 18 at the time, so I was just a kid. But yeah, wonderful memories. I love them so very much. And thank you, Jordan, for letting me be a part of it. Inspiration. I don't know if I would say there was much inspiration going into the role, but I will say I tackled the role, like I said before, I just took a melancholy approach. It's basically my own voice, but the tempo is down and the pitch is down. So that's pretty much how I took that. And yes, to answer your question, Jordan, I would do it again. And I look forward to maybe potentially doing that for a potential sequel sometime down the road. Hint, hint. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Happy 5 years to Dark Gray Blue. I'm just flexing this shirt. And God bless you guys, and have a very Merry Christmas.
As for Jake's family, Susan and Loretta, they were mainly inspired by Nagisa Furukawa and her daughter, Ushio, from Clan Ed. So that's where the Clan Ed connection comes in. I haven't thought much about the personality, but if I were to make more sequels, I would love to flesh them out further. The only thing I did with Loretta was make her favorite movie, this 70s fantasy film that's obviously inspired by The Last Unicorn and whatnot. So that's how I created those characters. Now for Rosaldo, the old guy. He was a mixture of a bunch of older people I've encountered most of my life. And I decided to voice this character. And I don't know how his voice came to be, but I decided to do this obscure Winnie the Pooh, Jin Cumming bad impression. And he started to talk like this. I'm Rosato, and I'm here to cheer you up. And I'm gonna stop doing this voice because it freaking hurts. Anyway, and that's what I did with the voice. Was that I designed him to be someone to be the light into Jake's darkness. That light of hope. He is the light and Jake is the darkness. And so that's that thematic balance between those characters. As for the cat, I decided that the story was ending too much of a sad note, so there needed to be 1 ounce of hope, 1 ounce of closure for this character. And so I thought a pet cat would do fine. I love cats. Sometimes I like cats more than dogs, but I love all animals, but cats I love the most. And so, yeah. As for the cat, I decided to name her Rose, because why not? Now for the background characters, I wanted the background characters to feel unique and such. That I wanted them to have I have little backstories in my mind of who these characters are like. One of them is loosely designed off of my stepdad, one is loosely designed off of my sister. And a couple you see with the mustache and stuff. Like, I just wanted the background characters to be just as interesting. Why did I make them blue and all that stuff? I wanted to make sure that they were part of the background where they weren't standing out too much from Jake's perspective, and that's why they blend in, you know, for a thematic purpose. Was I always going to have Jake's family die? Well, it wasn't at first. It was just going to be about a guy who's just depressed about this stuff. But as I was writing it, I needed to give him a reason to feel that way. So writing in the plot about losing his family felt appropriate and whatnot. And that's how it became that. It just became this personal story that, you know, I presented to as part of a presentation in class. Everyone liked it. Then I presented the film in class and everyone liked it. And to this day, people say it's my best work. I agree that it's my best film. If you really want to get to know my philosophy in life and whatnot, I'd recommend watching Dark Gray Blue. But don't take my word for it. Take it from my friends who've seen the film and their thoughts.
So I just got done rewatching Jordan Farrell's Dark Grey Blue, which is, in my opinion, one of the best projects that he's done. I think it's a beautiful story about grief, about how it can make you. I don't know if this was the intention, but when I watch it, obviously after I've lost both my grandparents now, grief can make you see the world differently. It can make you see things as bleak. It can make you see things as well blue. But sometimes it can just be like the smallest interactions with people that can brighten your day again. And that's why I really like that scene, which is my favourite scene in the entire project, when he gets the apple. Well, the apples, I should say. Obviously, I really love the cat scene as well. But just I'm a sucker for anything that involves just empathy and human and just humans supporting each other, which is one of the reasons why Superman Smashes the Klan is my favourite Superman story. Obviously that's a different thing, but still. But what I mean is that I just love stories that involve human empathy, and this has that with the apple scene and him sort of, and you can see the colours around him sort of shifting and changing after the apple scene and during the ending scene with the cat. And also I did notice that with the movie he's watching, the characters in the movie, they both smile as soon as the guy has the cat on his lap, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was intentional. But I just love the use of colour. I just love everything about this. I think it's really good. And a side note, I did notice the Scooby-Doo cameo in the scene in the restaurant. I completely forgot about that bit. So I just have to say that I thought it was brilliant, and I thought it was a beautiful project, and I definitely think if you've been through loss, if you've lost a loved one, obviously my losing my grandparents wasn't as dramatic as what he went through, but it was still hard, and you never really get over it. But I think definitely if someone's gone through something like that, this will definitely speak to them in some way. So I really enjoyed it.
Dark Gray Blue is actually my favorite film from Jordan. I really like its exploration of grief. I think it does a really good job at exploring the main character and his struggles. And I just really like the animation in it a lot too. I really like how the characters move. I think there's some really good colors in it, and I really like the music a lot. I think Jordan did a really good job at picking some really great music that really elevates the drama. It's just a really touching short. And I also really like the pacing in it a lot too. I think it just goes by so fast, especially on my last rewatch. Like I forgot how well paced it really was. And yeah, I really like it, and I think Jordan has a real future, honestly. With this and other films I've seen from him, I really think he has a good future ahead of him. It's a really effective, really well done short, and yeah.
Well, that's the end of the documentary. Uh, I hope you enjoyed or liked what you've learned in this documentary. And happy 4-year anniversary to my film Dark Gray Blue, and thank you for watching this film and this documentary as well. And until then, I'm gonna be on to the next project. It's very special, it's very personal, and hopefully it will drive a spark into one another.